Grow endless ginger at home from store-bought ginger. Hey there, fellow plant lovers. Welcome back to Earthly Delights, the place where your windowsill turns into a wonderland, and even the tiniest balcony becomes a thriving garden. Now, if you're someone who gets excited about sprouting basil in a jar, rearranging your houseplants like furniture, or finding life in unexpected corners of your kitchen, you're in the right place. Because today, I'm sharing something special. Something earthy, something that starts quietly in your grocery bag and could turn into an endless supply of healing, homegrown ginger right from your home. No need for a greenhouse, no fancy tools, just your hands, a little soil, and one humble root. Curious? You should be, because once you learn this trick, you'll never look at ginger or your indoor garden the same way again. Before we get into it, make sure to tap that subscribe button and join our growing community of plant whisperers right here on Earthly Delights. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Why ginger? The magic beneath the skin. Have you ever held a piece of ginger and wondered what it might become, beyond just a spice tossed into your tea or stir fry? For those of us who care deeply about what we bring into our homes, for those who believe in nurturing life from windowsills, kitchen counters, or tiny patios, ginger offers more than flavor. It offers possibility. You see, this unassuming rhizome, gnarled, golden, and earthy, holds within it a quiet kind of magic. Beneath its skin are eyes, just waiting to awaken. These eyes aren't just growth points. They're little promises. Promises of green shoots, of healing properties, of something truly alive taking root in your care. And that's what makes it so special to indoor gardeners like you, people who value intention, who see their homes as living spaces, not storage spaces. People who may not have acres of soil, but who still crave the grounding experience of growing their own food. Ginger doesn't ask for much. It simply asks for patience, light, and just enough room to stretch. And the reward? A cycle of renewal, one that brings both beauty and benefit into your everyday life. Ready to discover how? Let's dig deeper. 2. Choosing your ginger, a living treasure hunt. So how do you begin this journey from grocery to green oasis? It all starts with a simple act, one that feels almost too easy. You head to your local market, eyes open not just for what's ripe, but for what's ready. Because in this moment, you're not just a shopper, you're a grower in the making. Now here's what you're looking for. A ginger rhizome that feels full of life. Not shriveled or dry, but firm to the touch, slightly glossy, with little knobs or eyes along its curves. Those eyes? They're the heartbeat of this whole operation. Each one is a potential sprout, a future shoot that will rise through soil like a quiet miracle. If you can, choose a piece that's a bit larger, palm-sized or more, something with multiple growth points, because the more eyes it has, the more lush your indoor ginger jungle will become. And here's something beautiful to remember. You're not just picking produce, you're choosing potential. So next time you're strolling the produce aisle, take a closer look. That overlooked ginger root might just be the beginning of something remarkable. Something that grows, something that gives, and something you'll soon be proud to call your own. 3. Pot and soil, the unsung heroes of growth. Now that you've found your ginger gem, it's time to give it the home it deserves. Because just like people, plants thrive when they're placed in the right environment, where they can stretch, settle, and slowly become. When it comes to pots, think wide, not deep. Ginger doesn't grow downward like carrots. It spreads out, exploring sideways, like it's telling its own story beneath the surface. A shallow but broad container gives it room to dance in the soil, to send out shoots from every angle. And speaking of soil, this is not the time for heavy, soggy mixes. Ginger loves a light, well-draining soil, something airy, something that feels like it can breathe. You want to create a home that's moist but never wet. That's why a terracotta pot is a wise choice. It wicks away excess moisture, keeping things balanced beneath the surface where the real magic is happening. If you're gardening indoors, and I know many of you are, you might be working with recycled containers, upcycled trays, or even old ceramic bowls. That's okay. What matters most is space, drainage, and a soil blend that supports, not smothers. Because when you build the right foundation, the rest becomes almost effortless. Your ginger won't just grow, it will thrive. And watching that unfold, that's the kind of quiet reward indoor gardeners live for. 4. Planting ritual, from store shelf to soil sanctuary. Here's where the transformation truly begins. You've chosen your ginger, you've picked your pot. Now it's time to bridge the gap between potential and growth. And it starts not with force or precision, but with care. Because planting is more than a task, it's a ritual. Begin by filling your pot about 3/4 full with your light, airy soil. Press it gently, not too firm, just enough to create a soft bed. Then, take your ginger and place it horizontally on the surface. Lay it like you're tucking in a child for a restful sleep. The eyes should face upward, ready to greet the light when the time comes. There's no need to bury it deep. Just cover it with a thin veil of soil, enough to cradle it while still letting the warmth and moisture do their work. Press down ever so slightly, as if sealing a quiet promise between you and the plant. Now comes the first watering. This isn't just hydration, it's activation. With that first pour, you're telling your ginger, it's safe here. You can begin. And as the water soaks in, so does your intention. You haven't just planted a piece of ginger. You've created a sanctuary of growth, right there on your shelf, in your kitchen, or by your sunlit window. Something rooted, something rising, something real. 5. Light, patience, and the quiet joy of watching it grow. Now that your ginger is nestled in its new home, the most magical part begins, not because it happens quickly, but because it happens quietly. Ginger doesn't rush, and neither should we. Place your pot somewhere warm and bright, a windowsill that catches the afternoon sun, a spot near your kitchen where light lingers. It doesn't need scorching heat, but it does crave consistency. Think of it like giving your ginger a gentle daily dose of encouragement. Over the next few weeks, you might find yourself checking on it every morning. And at first, nothing, just soil, stillness. But don't mistake silence for stagnation. Beneath the surface, something ancient is stirring, roots reaching, eyes awakening. Then one day, a slender green shoot will pierce the soil, like a whisper saying, I'm here. And soon after, another and another. They'll rise like little blades of promise, delicate but determined, grassy, graceful, almost bamboo-like. And with each new leaf, you'll feel it, that quiet joy only indoor gardeners know. The thrill of slow growth, the reward of patience, the reminder that something beautiful is always in progress, even when we can't see it. 6. Knowing when to harvest, listening to the leaves. Every plant has a rhythm, and ginger speaks in soft signs. As the weeks stretch into months, your once tiny green shoots will become a gentle forest of slender stems. They sway with your breath, they lean toward the light, and you'll begin to feel a quiet bond forming, as if your care and its growth are dancing in harmony. But then something shifts. The vibrant green begins to fade. Leaves that once stood tall start to curl, yellow, and slowly dry. It might feel like something's going wrong, but don't worry. This isn't failure. This is completion. Ginger tells you it's ready, not with fruit or flowers, but with this fading grace. When those leafy tips begin to brown and the stems go dry, it's not a goodbye. It's a signal, a soft nudge that says, look beneath. This is the harvest moment, and it's sacred. Not because of how much you've grown, but because of what you've learned in the waiting. It's a reminder that in every cycle, there's a season to begin, a season to tend, and a season to receive. So gather your hands, take a breath, and let's gently lift the treasure waiting just beneath the soil. 7. The first harvest. Big or small, it's yours. This is the moment many wait for, but it's not just about what you pull from the soil. It's about what this little plant has pulled out of you. As you loosen the earth, you might feel a sense of anticipation, even nervousness. Will there be enough? Did I do it right? But as your fingers brush against that familiar, knobby texture, only now fuller, fresh, and fragrant, you'll realize something deeper. You did grow this. With patience, with presence, with love. Maybe your harvest is generous, a whole handful of ginger ready for slicing into tea or soup. Or maybe it's modest, just a piece or two. Either way, it's yours, and that makes it powerful. Break off what you need, savor its spice, its warmth, its story, and then don't stop there. Take one of those fresh pieces with its little eyes and promise of more, and place it back into the soil. The cycle continues. The rhythm flows on. This isn't just growing ginger. It's growing resilience, growing rhythm, growing a kind of peace that only those who nurture living things truly understand. 8. Loop the cycle. Perennial rewards in a digital world. In the rush of modern life, where everything pings and scrolls and refreshes by the second, this small act of planting, waiting, harvesting, and replanting feels almost revolutionary. Because what you've just created isn't a one-time harvest. It's a living rhythm, a cycle you can repeat not just season after season, but soul after soul. Each time you replant a piece of your ginger, you're saying yes to growth, to healing, to a pace that honors nature over noise. And maybe next time, you'll gift a piece to a friend, or show a child how something so ordinary can turn extraordinary with just a little love and light. Or maybe you'll keep it for yourself, tucking it back into the soil like a quiet secret you've come to cherish. This is how we bring the outside in. This is how we root ourselves in something real. No matter how small our spaces or how busy our days, there is always room for something to grow. And in that growing, we find more than food. We find grounding. We find rhythm. We find ourselves again, from grocery to garden to gratitude. So here we are, full circle. What began as a quiet root tucked into a shopping bag has now become something alive, tended by your hands, grown with your care, and harvested in your own sacred space. And maybe along the way you realize this wasn't just about growing ginger. It was about growing patience, presence, possibility. This little experiment, this plant on your shelf, it brought you back to something simple and real. And that's what indoor gardening is really about, isn't it? In a world that moves too fast, it invites you to slow down, to watch, to feel. And as you hold that first homegrown ginger in your palm, take a moment, look at what you've created. Let gratitude settle in, soft but strong, because you did this, not with fancy tools or expert training, but with intention. And that's enough. If this video lit a spark in you, if you're already imagining what else you might grow, don't keep it to yourself. Tap that like button, share it with someone who needs a little green in their life, and make sure you're subscribed to Earthly Delights. Until next time, may your roots run deep and your leaves reach high.